Hi guys, good day. Kindly follow me on my Facebook page and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. So sa video na ito, ituturo ko ang pagkakaiba ng relation and function. Kabilang rin dito ang function notation and graphing linear function. Every function is a relation, but every relation doesn't represent a function. Relation is any set of ordered pairs x, y of real numbers. For a function, we consider a correspondence or a mapping between two sets x and y so that x is a member of x and y is a member of y. Function is a set of ordered pairs for which member of x, the domain, is associated with exactly one member of f of x of the range. So abscissa is the first element or the variable x and ordinate is the second element or the variable y. The set of abscissa is called as the domain and the set of ordinate is called as range. So ano nga bang pagkakaiba ng function and relation? When we said function, that is one-to-one and many-to-one. Kapag naman relation, that is one-to-many or pwede din yung many-to-many. Thus, a relation is a set of ordered pairs. A relation between the domain and range can be presented in different ways. Okay, ang unang paraan para malaman natin ang relation or function ng domain and range or the variables x and y is the arrow diagram. Through arrow diagram, you can easily determine if it is or if it illustrates a relation or function. So for example, we have the domain A, B, C, D and range 1, 2, 3, 4. A corresponds to 1, B corresponds to 2, C corresponds to 3, and D corresponds to 4. So every element in the domain is paired to only one element in the range. The correspondence is 1 to 1, so this is an example of a function. So kung mapapansin nyo, ang isang element ng domain ay nag-correspond lamang sa isang element ng range. So ito yung tinatawag nating 1 to 1, so that is a function. Another example, we have the domain -2, -1, 2, 4, 5, and we have range 3, -3, and 0. -2 corresponds to 3, -1 corresponds to 3, 2 corresponds to -3, 4 corresponds to 0, and 5 also corresponds to 0. So there are two elements in the domain that corresponds to only one element in the range. So the correspondence is many to one. So this is also a function. Kung mapapansin nyo, merong dalawang element ng domain na nag-correspond sa isang element lamang ng range. Ito yung tinatawag nating many to one. Therefore, this is also an example of function. Another, we have domain 3, -3, 0, and -2, -1, 2, 4, 5. So, pagbaliktarin natin yung elements ng domain and range, katulad nitong nasa taas. So, +3 corresponds to -2, -3 corresponds to -1, -3 corresponds to +2, 0 corresponds to 4, and 0 corresponds to 5. Every element in the domain is paired to more than one element in the range. The correspondence is one to many, and this is a relation. So, kung mapapansin nyo, kung kanina sa function, meron tayong many to one, kapag naman relation, or hindi ito function, hindi ito halimbawa ng function, kaya iyon ay tinatawag na relation, we have one domain or one element of domain corresponds to two or more than one elements in range. So, ito yung tinatawag naman nating relation. Ang pangalawang paraan naman, when we are comparing or relating the variable x and y is using the ordered pairs. This is a set of x and y pair. X is always the first element or the domain, and y is the second element or range. So let's have the examples. Let the domain be set of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make set of ordered pairs that A or set A wherein range is twice the domain, set B, range is one more than the domain, and set C, range is greater than the domain. So, Isulat na natin yung mga elements or ordered pairs dun sa set A. Sabi dyan, range is twice the domain. So, ibig sabihin, we will multiply or dodoblehin natin ang domain. So, we have the set A 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, 8, and 5, 10. Dinoble natin yung domain natin na 1 or element ng domain which is 1. So, 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, 3 plus 3 is 6, 4 plus 4 is 8, and 5 plus 5 is 10. Next is the set B. Range is 1 more than the domain. So mag-a-add lang tayo ng 1 sa domain. So that will be 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, and 5, 6. Next is the set C. Range is greater than the domain. So ano ba yung mga numbers na greater than sa 1? So that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. So, pwede natin gamitin ang mga ordered pairs na 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 2, 7, 5, 6, and more. So, dito sa set C, pwede tayong more than 6 elements or more than 6 or more than 5 ordered pairs since ang nakalagay dyan, range must be greater than the domain. Pwede din siyang maging 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 6. So, iyon yung halimbawa ng set C. So, sets A and B are both functions. The correspondence is 1 to 1. Set C is a relation. The correspondence is many to many. So, ang set A at B ay kabilang or halimbawa ng function since they are considered o meron silang mapping na 1 to 1. Ang set C naman ay under naman ng relation since ang correspondence ay many to many. The range is the dependent variable. Its value depends upon the value of the domain. Ang pangatlong way naman in representing the relationship of x and y or the tables and equations. The relationship between the domain and range can be illustrated using table of values or equation. So let's have the example. Construct the table of values that will illustrate the costs of number of notebooks if the price is 12 pesos. Let x be the number of notebook and y be the cost of the notebook. So we have the table of values. So for the equation, we have y equals 12x. Paano na nga ba naging y equals 12x yung ating equation? So since y is the dependent variable and x is the independent variable, ibig sabihin, ang value ng y ay nakadepende sa value ng x. So sabi dyan, ang isang notebook ay katumbas ng 12 pesos. So kung meron tayong dalawang notebook, that is 24, 3 notebooks, that is 36, 4 notebooks, that is 48. So, ang bilang ng notebook, so doon babase ang cost ng notebooks or yung total cost of notebooks. So, therefore, the equation is 12x because we will multiply 12 to the number of notebooks. Katulad nito, so since merong dalawang notebooks, that is 12 times 2, which is 24. Ganon din ang 36, 12 times 3 is 36, 12 times 4 is 48, so the equation is y equals 12x. The total cost is dependent to the number of notebooks. The dependent variable is y and the independent variable is x. You can get the total cost of the notebook if you supply the number of notebook. Ang pang-apat na way naman is using graphs. Functions or relations can be illustrated through graphs. You can graph by plotting the points on the rectangular coordinate plane. You can take the points from the set of ordered pairs, table of values or equation, or vice versa. So let's have this graph. So ang graph na ito ay nakuha natin doon sa ating set A kanina, wherein range is twice the domain. So, meron tayong graph. Similarly, you can derive set of ordered pairs, table of values from the graph. Since the graph was taken from the ordered pairs in set A, you can construct the table of values. So, using the graph, nakapag-construct tayo ng table of values wherein x yung x-axis and y is the y-axis. So, we have the x coordinates 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And then sa y naman, ito yung ating nasa taas or yung pataas. So since nakita natin na ang point ay nakatapat sa 1 of x and 2 of y, so we have the table of values 1, 2. Ganun din sa 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, 8, and 5, 10. So we have the equation y equals 2x. An equation in two variables represents a function if the exponents of the variables are positive integral exponents. Kapag sinabing positive integral exponents, iyon yung positive numbers or positive integers na exponent ng isang variable. So let us differentiate a function and not function. Meron tayong mga halimbawa ng function. For example, we have y equals 2x minus 5 and y equals x to the fourth power minus 2x plus square root of 3. As you can see, we don't have an exponent in 2x. So, ibig sabihin meron tayong positive 1 as integer or positive integral exponent. And then, sa x raised to 4 naman, positive yung 4, which is exponent ng variable x. So, this is also a function. Ang mga halimbawa naman ng hindi function ay y equals square root of x plus 4. Ano nga ba ang katumbas ng square root of x? So that is, square root of x is equal to x raised to 1 half. The exponent is not an integer. So, ang 1 half ay hindi kabilang sa integer. Ito ay kabilang sa rational number or fraction. Another example of not function, y equals 3x raised to negative squared plus 1. So, negative 2 is not a positive integer. Proceed tayo sa function notation. So, meron tayong format. For example, ito, f of x is equal to 3x plus 1. This is the name of function or binabasa natin as f of x. X is the input or the domain and 3x plus 1 is the output or range. Ibig sabihin, we will get the output or makukuha natin ang value ng range depende sa value ng domain. So let us now have the examples. Find the value of the function. We have the given y equals 3x plus 1. So let us find the value of function of 2 and function of negative 3. So paano nga ba natin hahanapin ang value ng function using the values of the variable x? So ang gagawin lang natin, we will first substitute the variable y to f of x because y is also the same as f of x. So, ibig sabihin, hahanapin natin yung function ng variable x. So, in this, we will just substitute the function of 2. So, yung variable a ay papalitan natin ng constant which is 2. So, 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1. Therefore, the value of y or the function is 7. And then, pwede na tayo maglagay ng ordered pair to 7. 2 is the variable x and 7 is the variable y. Next is the function of negative 3. So that will become function of negative 3 equals 3 times negative 3 plus 1. Positive times negative is negative, so that will be negative 9 plus 1. And then kapag mag-a-add tayo or hahanapin natin ang sum ng negative and positive or magkaiba ng sign, we will subtract and then copy the sign of the bigger number. Therefore, negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8. So we have the ordered pair negative 3, negative 8. Second example, if the area of the rectangle is a of x equals 4x squared minus 3x plus 10, find the area if x equals 5. So, ganun pa rin ang gagawin natin. We will just substitute the value of x, which is 5, to the given equation of y. So, we have 4 times 5 squared minus 3 times 5 plus 10. And then, we will just simplify. 5 times 5 or 5 squared is 25 minus 3 times 5 plus 10. And then, imumultiply na natin yung 4 and 25, ganon din yung 3 and 5. So, that will be 100 minus 15 plus 10. Dito, kung mapapansin nyo, meron na tayong tatlong numbers. So, using the rule of PEMDAS, kahit mauna ang subtraction, ganun pa rin ang ating solution. Kung ano yung unang isulat, iyon pa rin yung ating unang isosolve. So, 100 minus 15 plus 10, that is 85 plus 10. So, 85 plus 10 is 95 square units. Therefore, the value of area, or A of 5, is 95 square units, and then we have the ordered pair, 5, 95. For graphs, you can use the vertical line test. If you draw a vertical line to the graph and intersects the graph into two or more points, then the graph is not a graph of a function. Kapag function, ang graph dapat niya ay nag-intersect lamang sa isang point. Kapag naman nag-intersect sa two or more points, that is not also, or hindi na siya considered as a function. So we have the given graph. As you can see, we have here the diagonal line wherein kinonect natin yung tatlong dots or tatlong points, and then naglagay tayo ng point of intersection or yung vertical graph. It's either dito sa line na ito, pwede rin dito, or dito sa kaliwa. So as you can see, we only have one point of intersection. So thus, the graph is a function. There is only one point of intersection between the graph and the vertical line. Another, so dito nag-create naman ang graph ng circle. So the graph is not a function. The vertical line intersects the circle in 2 points. So dito tayo nag-draw ng vertical line. As you can see, nag-intersect sila or nag-intersect ang vertical line sa dalawang points ng circle. Kung dito naman tayo maglalay ng vertical line 1 point. Pero since nag-false na siya dito sa isa pang try ng vertical line, so this graph is not a function. Another, so as you can see, we formed a parabola. So ito yung ating parabola, merong 5 points, and then naglagay tayo dito ng vertical line. Pwede ring dito, or dito sa left. So meron tayong line and point of intersection. So the graph is also a function. The vertical line intersects the graph at exactly one point. Let us now proceed on graphing linear function. So let's have the example y equals 3x plus 1. So first step is to change the given into slope-intercept form. Ano nga ba ang formula ng slope-intercept form? That is y equals mx plus b. So ang given natin ay naka-slope-intercept form na, so therefore let us proceed on the second step. Change into a function. Papalitan lang natin ang given into a function by changing the variable y with f of x. And then, third step is to solve for the ordered pairs using the table of values. So, meron tayong table of values. We have the values of x, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. So, para mahanap natin ang value ng f of x or yung value ng y, isa-substitute natin yung mga value ng x, sisimulan natin sa negative 2, dito sa ating equation. So, that is 3x plus 1. And then, yung makukuha nating value dito, pagtatabihin lang natin para makuha natin yung x, f of x, or yung ating xy ordered pair. So, let us now substitute negative 2 to the equation. So, that is 3 times negative 2 plus 1. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. So, negative 6 plus 1 is negative 5. Magkaiba ng sign, so we subtracted. So that is negative 5, copy the sign of the bigger number. And then yung nakuha nating negative 5 ay ilalagay naman natin sa part ng f of x. So that is negative 5. Next is, pagtabihin lang natin para magkaroon tayo ng unang ordered pair, negative 2, negative 5. Doon naman tayo sa negative 1. Function of negative 1 equals 3 times negative 1 plus 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, plus 1 is negative 2. So, yung nakuha nating negative 2 ay ilagay naman natin sa f of x. And then, the ordered pair, we have negative 1, negative 2. So, proceed tayo sa value of x which is 0. F of 0 is equal to 3 times 0 plus 1. 3 times 0 is 0 plus 1 that is 1. So, yung nakuha naman nating 1, ilagay na natin dito sa tabi ng 0. And then, the ordered pair, we have 0, 1. Next, function of 1 equals 3 times 1 plus 1. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1, that is 4. Isulat ang 4. So, the ordered pair is 1, 4. Last, we have function of 2 equals 3 times 2 plus 1. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1, that is 7. Isulat ang 7. And then, we have the last ordered pair which is 2, 7. Fourth step is to plot the points, connect by a line, and determine if the slope is positive or negative. Since kompleto na ang ating table of values, ito yon, yung mga value of x and y or yung ordered pairs, let us now have a graph. Using the points or the ordered pairs, let us plot the points on the given Cartesian coordinate plane. So, simulan natin sa negative 2, negative 5. Negative 2 of x and negative 5 of y. So, that is this point. Next is negative 1, negative 2. Negative 1 of x and negative 2 of y. So, this is the point. 0, 1. So, dito tayo maglalagay sa mismong y-axis since 0 ang variable x. Next is 1, 4. 1 of x and 4 of y. And the last is 2, 7. 2 of x and 7 of y. And then let us connect the points using a line. So, as you can see, ang line natin ay pataas, papunta sa kanan. So, the slope is positive when the line arises to the right. If the line falls to the right, the slope is negative. Gaya ng nasabi ko kanina, since pataas ang ating line, papunta sa kanan, therefore, ang slope ng given graph ay positive. Second example, given the graph of the function, construct table of values and determine the function. So, kung kanina, ang given ay function, tapos tsaka natin i-graph, dito naman, given na ang graph, hahanapin naman natin ang table of values at ang function. So, we have the given graph. Meron dyang line and then iba-ibang points or ordered pairs. So, first step is to use the coordinates of the points to construct the table of values. So, dito, meron tayong, for example, we have the ordered pair 3 of x and 1 of y. So, that is 3, 1. Meron na tayong ordered pair. So, meron tayong given table of values, we have x and y or yung function of x. Meron tayong negative 3, 7, negative 2, 6, negative 1, 5, 0, 4, and 1, 3. So, dito, meron tayong 1, 3. Hanggang dito lang yung ating naisulat. Pero, pwede nyo pang idugtong yan dito. Pero, dahil tulad-tulad naman sila ng slope or ng pagitan sa bawat points. So, second step is to determine the slope and the y-intercept. When we said slope and y-intercept, that is y equals mx plus b. Kapag sinabing y-intercept, iyon yung point na nag-lie sa mismong y-axis. So, dito meron tayong 0, 4. Therefore, ang ating y-intercept is 4. Or the value of b is 4. And then, paano nga ba natin mahahanap yung slope or yung value ng m? So, m equals rise over run. So, simulan natin dito sa 4, sa 4, and then pupunta tayo doon sa any point of the graph. So, let's have 1 over negative 1 or negative 1. So, saan nga ba natin nakuha yung 1 over negative 1? Simula dito sa y-intercept na 4, magra-rise tayo ng isang unit, so that is positive 1, and then magra-run naman tayo ng isang unit, so since papunta sa kaliwa, that is negative 1. Therefore, 1 divided by negative 1 is negative 1. So, ang slope natin ay negative 1, and ang intercept naman natin ay positive 4. So, we will just substitute the given m and b to the given slope-intercept formula. So, we have f of x equals negative x plus 4. Let us now summarize what we have learned about the relation and function. So, when we said function and relation, function that is 1 to 1, many to 1, and kapag naman relation that is 1 to many, or pwede na nating isama yung many to many. So function notation, we have this given format. This is called as the name of function or f of x. X is the input or domain, and 3x plus 1 is the output or the range. In graphing linear function, first step is to change into slope-intercept form. Second is to change into a function. Third is to solve for the ordered pairs using a table of values. Next is plot the points, connect by a line, and determine if the slope is positive or negative. Sana ay nakatulong ang video na ito sa inyong lesson tungkol sa relation and function. Thank you for watching. If you have questions or suggestions, feel free to comment below. Enjoy learning mathematics. God bless us all!